Okay, the title of this lesson, Critical Psychology in Action, I hope can be explained by my exposition. Why critical psychology in action? We are dealing here with an action research, and so action research is a research that aims to acquire knowledge for the purpose of produce change, with a bionivocal, a dialectical relationship between theory and praxis. Praxis is the meaning, is the word used also and especially by Gramsci. And so, in fact, the philosophy of Gramsci is also now as the philosophy of praxis. It's a meaning for the philosophy of Gramsci. The concept of praxis is at the center also of the idea of Antonio Gramsci. In the definition of Kurt Lewin, because my action research is inspired to the paradigm of Kurt Lewin action research. In the word of Kurt Lewin, the definition of Kurt Lewin is this. It is a type of action research, a comparative research on the conditions and effects of various forms of social action, and research leading to social action. Research that produce nothing but books will not suffice. Nothing but books. Books are important. Attention, this can be a misunderstanding about action research. Books are important, but are not only important. This binomiance implies that the research needed is in any respect less scientific or lower that would be required for poor science in the field of social events. Because also now, but also at the time of Lewin and also after, it is a sort of prejudice in this kind of research, as also research secondary, lower, respect to poor science. And this is the definition of Lewin. And so I assume this original, this we can see after, paradigm of Lewin experimented in the application of this paradigm in conditions absolutely different, obviously, from those in which the Berlin psychologists had operated work in the States in 1940, in other conditions, the condition of Israel, of Arab school in Israel. Indeed, the paradigm of Lewin, indeed, the very origins of the research, of this research, is consistent with this paradigm. Why? The decision to undertake this research arose out of a group discussion by the psychologists, the scholar psychologists at the Center for Educational Psychology in Ixal, Cana, Nazareth, and so on. And this at the end and as an outcome of the training, 5.5 days, in the topic of group dynamics and on the role of groups in processes of change, a training conducted by myself in Ixal, in Israel, in 2009. The training session, this is important, was requested and also paid for these educational or scholar psychologists themselves. Thus, apart from being, like all action research, a bottom-up process starting from a need and a request from below, this research is based in this triangulation. This triangulation and with this relationship between training, formation, research, and action, intervention. In the words of Levin, is another article of this action research of Levin, action research on minority problems, is the last research of Levin in the minority groups in states. Minority group in states are many, the minority group in states. In this case, was the minority group of Afro-American in Connecticut. You know the meaning of minority. It's not there are few people. Minority in power. Minority because they don't have power. Submitted. This is the meaning of minority. And so, in this research, the last in this problem of action research on minority problems, Levin writes these and similar experiences, because Levin begins with the formation, a training to social worker of Connecticut. And these experiences have convinced me that we should consider action, research, and training, formation, as a triangle, that should be kept together for the sake of any of these corners, for the sake of this corner, for the sake of training, of research, of action. It's clear? You have some question, you can hear a few people, so.
Can you tell us, or I'm not sure about the background of Levin, I mean, maybe also like his political background, or which kind of psychology he comes from? Levin is Hebrew, okay? Levin came in 1953 from Berlin to States, because in 1953 here in Berlin happened what happened. You know? Berlin is a psychologist in Berlin, and the Institute of Psychology in Berlin with the Gestalt psychologist, and is an assistant in particular of Köhler, the Gestalt psychology. You know? The institute here at the time, after the First World War, the Institute of Psychology in Berlin is in Alexanderplatz in the Schloss Berlin, in the old Royal Palace, near the Humboldt University. At the time, the name is not Humboldt University, but it's Kaiser Wilhelm University. And Berlin studied philosophy and psychology here in Berlin with a psychologist, the name is Stumpf. One of the Stumpf, Karl Stumpf, a very famous student in psychology of music, German psychology, in Gestalt. This is his formation. And from Berlin, for political, he is a student, but in Berlin is also many engagement in political action with a particular Marxist party. It is also interested in politics. But he's a student, he's a scholar. And in States become more and more a social psychologist. But also here in Berlin, I have studied, for example, in the problems of Taylor's system, you know, Taylor's thing for Sindhu and so on. But in Berlin become more and more a social psychologist. Kurt Lewin is considered the father of the modern experimental social psychology, and so he's a psychologist, but also political implication, not as Köhler and so on, and all students live in an Institute of Psychology, but also in the street, in the industry.
Sorry, I want to ask if you could probably mention one example, or if you are going to say more about the triangulation relation from training, research, and action.
Okay.
Like how it starts, how it ends, or if
we can see echo.
Okay.
Relation. The first moment is this my training for myself, this formation with this scholar psychologist
in exam training. In this formation, request for not decided by requested for this psychologist, I spoke also of the problem of group intervention, of school, and so on. And in this formation, this training, begin a need from this psychologist who makes something in the school where they work. And so, research, for example. But this is only first moment. After is a continued process. A research in school, but a research not for knowing the problem, but a research for intervention, for change something. And you can see, in particular, for change in scholar disruption. The problem of dropouts we can see not only this. And so, what's the meaning? For example, training. What's the meaning of this? I am the trainer. This handball involved participation in the research and in action, not only research, action is action research, by the group of psychologists, the group taking part in the training, okay? The group of psychologists taking part in the training. And by the trainer himself, myself in this case. The trainer, myself, has to engage after, in the next, no months, in the next years, has to engage with the relation between what the trainer has explained, the theory has explained, information, and what happened in practice, the real problems in real situation. Usually, the trainer formation spoke very good lesson, and after, right. In this case, it's very different. After this lesson, I worked with this person for 4 years, from 2009. Okay, this is, for example. And so, in the formation of Levin with the social work in Connecticut, it's not only formation, it's a formation, but after the experts go in the street in Connecticut to work with the social worker. Well, you can see all their problems and the different stages. It's clear? This problem. This is the and. Principal goals of this particular action research. The main goal of this is to reduce scholar disruption. Reduce, not resolve, it's impossible. Reduce. What's the meaning of scholar disruption? For the scholar disruption has two meanings. First, the dropouts, dropouts. Open scholar disruption. The dropouts. That is more important. The second meaning, the hidden scholar disruption. We, everywhere, not only here in Israel, have the dropouts, but have the problems more difficult of the hidden scholar disruption. The absent-present. This definition is of the teacher. In interview, the teacher involved in this research. The student absent-present. Is clear the meaning of absent-present. They are here, and this is the more important part. This is the main goal. The second goal, the second aim, is also important, is to change the practice of this scholar psychologist. reducing clinical intervention, because they are principally or exclusively engaged in clinical intervention, clinical individual intervention for diagnosis of learning disabilities and ADHD, you know? And this is very dangerous. We can see it's very dangerous, this diagnosis. We have many in Arab Israeli school. We have many child also of the first class with this diagnosis. Is the end. And so the second time is reducing clinical intervention and increasing psychosocial intervention in school organization, in teacher, student, and parent groups. This is the second goal of this research. Field territory of the research. The research was carried out in Arab Israel school in Ixara and Cana in Galilee, in the area of Nazareth. A problem of terminology. In official use in Israel state, Palestinian resident and citizen of the state must be called not Palestinian, but Arab Israelis. Okay? Those residents in the territories of the West Bank and Gaza are Palestinian. Is clear? They are all Palestinian. But in permitted language, it's not possible to call Palestinian a Palestinian living in the state of Israel. Are not possible. Are Arab Israeli. And so this is the permitted language. This is also a problem of terminology. And so the territory is restricted to this. In the first planification, we are interested also to make this action research in West Bank, in Palestine, and also in Hebrew Orthodox school, where the problem of disruption is also a worst. But as happened in action research, the field for problem of budget, for many problems, is restricted to a more little area. But this is not a problem, because action research, otherwise than survey, are completely different from action research. The survey, we can consider the survey as the opposite of action research. And so the survey, you can have a survey on all Europe, on all Germany. Action research can be in a little area. It's impossible to have action research in Berlin. It's not possible. It's possible to have action research in these neighborhoods. But it's important because this little area can become a model, a plot for other problems. And so the area is this, Ixar and Cana. Here. This is the West Bank. The area is here, near in neighbors of Nazareth, in region of Nazareth here. This is Israel. This is Golan, Israel. This is West Bank, Palestine. This is Gaza Strip, here. Okay? It is urban area, a big urban area near Nazareth. Nazareth is now a big city for many, with many problems. Participant. The actors involved in this action research in the first phase are the scholar psychologists, the educational psychologists. After, beside the initial group of educational psychologists, we have other participants. First, teachers, obviously, teachers. Principal of school, director of school, and so on. Politicians, bureaucrats. And last but not least, the parents of the student, and also in some school also the student. this is a problem. In this kind of research, participants are more or less constantly and directly involved. It is a central group, a nucleus, a central group, and author. The role can change in the time. You can, I don't know, you can be represented all this by the Levin topology or odology, you know. Levin used this particular geometry, the name is topology, is a qualitative geometry. And so, if I have a pencil by iPad, you can represent a group as a space, with some border. But these borders are not rigid, are flexible, are change continuously. And so the participants are different in different conditions. In some time, the teacher are at the center of the attention. In other time, the politician, and so on. It's a dynamic process. The stage of research are different stage. The research developed in different stage. Stage one, the first stage, the very important, is the presentation and discussion of plan and aims of the research in the school and city council of Ixal and Kara. The first phase is the planification, but the planification is not my problem in my institute. The planification is a collective work. A collective work with the teacher, with the principal of the school, with the politician of the city council, and so on. The presentation. Goals of this stage: acquisition of information and opinions of teacher, principal, educational officer, city councilor. The city councilor is very important for school, for the financial problem too. First, other goals: inquire into the intention of these subjects to take part in the action research, starting with the principal. The principal of the school is the decision of the principal is very important if you have to make some research in the school. It's a necessary thing. And most important, the decision of these actors to take part and this to research. And this decision can be more or less definitive. You will participate to this research, what you decide. But this decision is not a definitive decision, can change in the time. And also the participation are more or less constant. Is as you can see, is very different from the basic research. It's very different. In the basic research, this is not possible. But this is not, the meaning is not that this is allowed research. Perhaps it's more difficult. You have the plan in basic research, the participant can change. Here it's not possible because it's a process in action. Stage 2, after this, one historical and statistical analysis of school in Palestine and Israel. The second stage, the beginning of the research, after this planification, after the discussion of participation, is this historical and statistical analysis of school in Palestine. First, historical analysis. First, after statistical analysis. First, historical analysis of the culture and educational system under the British government in Palestine from in this period. This is the state of Israel. Okay, this is the period of goal of this stage, historical analysis. Bring out the change in the Arab-Palestinian educational system introduced with the new state of Israel from 1948 after. But before, what happened before in this period, for understand the change of the state of Israel. But for understand the change that we have with the new state of Israel, is necessary to have the history of before. And so we have this history. Elementary education was limited, but the documents of this period show the Palestinian struggle and also economic commitment to obtain more education, and this in conflict with British authority, because the British authority are not interested in education for Palestinians. And so it is this problem of the Palestinian after this period to obtain more school, to obtain more education. For example, this is a Palestinian, an historian of this period. The situation is not good. It's better that in the period of Ottoman. It's better, but it's not good situation. Only less than half of all children are able to enroll in school. The situation in peripheries, not are more and it's even worse. And this in particular for girls. And in this situation, the Palestinian faced with this situation. And the Palestinian population engaged in a form of protest. Nevertheless, after the Ottoman domination, Palestinian culture flourished. Disappeared and so, otherwise, from some opinion, before the birth of Israel, in Palestine, there was not just a desert, but there is something, an important culture. The Palestinian in this are perhaps the more advanced respect, and the Lebanon respect are the more advanced this phenomenon. And so, before the birth of Israel, there was not just a desert in that will be. The analysis of the Arab educational system in the State of Israel after 1948. Analysis of legislation and statistics. Goals is clear. Outline the general framework within which to insert the problem of dropouts in Arab Israeli school. Describe the effects of the Israeli state school policy on Arab school attendance. Compare Arab Israeli school attendance with Jewish school attendance. Compare the Jewish system. Because the school system in Israel is complex, is very, very complex. We have state school plus private school of the Orthodox Jewish community, private school of the various Christian confessional schools, also attended not only by Christian Arab, but also by Muslim boys and girls, plus lay private school, and so on. And so, a statistical description is very difficult. Arab and Jewish state school are generally separate. The school where Arab boy or girls and Jewish boy and girls can go are very, very, very few. Very, very few. Are separate, always separate. Also, for example, also the transport, the bus system, de facto, are separate. The bus for the Jewish, the bus for the school have two separate. In this time, is founded, the department in the Ministry of the State of Israel is founded the Department for Arab Education. Arab Israeli politicians opposed the existence of this separate and special department because they think this special department is a way for separate, for differentiation. And so the official of the department were both Jewish, special Jewish and Arabs, but Jewish and Arabs chosen by the Israeli Secret Service. Okay. And so we have this problem. Only in 1952, only in this time, the ministry nominated for the first time an Arab as head of the Department of Arab Education. Only in this time, but this an Arab Jewish official continued this problem to control programs for school subjects and the educational objective in Arab school. But also this reality is a contradictory, it's a complex and contradictory reality. This is a result, it's not my opinion, is the results of this stage of the research. Analysis of statistics or law in Israel. I am not exposing my opinion, but are results of this particular stage of this research. Statistical analysis and also analysis of legislation, of the law and so on. In short, the reality is contradictory. While discrimination persists, but Arab-Israeli schools have benefited from the strong commitment and considerable investment in education by the Israeli state. The budget of the Ministry of Education is the most important budget after the budget in Israel of the Ministry of Defense. And this is in the tradition of Jewish culture, the investment in education. And so, this big investment in education of Israeli state has some good outcome also for the Arab school, Israel. It is discrimination, but this has some good outcome also for Arab school. Market process, but this market progress in Arab-Israeli school attendance is due not only to Israeli state investment, but is due to the struggle and commitment of the Arab-Israeli population. It's clear? It is a progress. This progress is due in part to Israeli investment in education, but also is due to the struggle and commitment of the Arab-Israeli population. As the exemplary case before of the Department for Arab Education mentioned above demonstrates. Remember, all the struggle for this department, the official in this department, and so on. For example, the number of schools in this year, at the beginning, Arab, elementary, normal elementary school, this number, in this year, it is an increasing. High school, only one at the beginning. In this period, from one to this. And so it is this positive outcome. Of particular importance is the progress in the female Arab-Israeli school attendance due to the state of Israel, in the new state of Israel. In 1948, only 18% of the Arab-Israeli school population are female. In a Jewish school, the female are the 49%. 18.6% in the Arab Israel, 49% in the Jewish school. After 10 years, the female in school are not 18.6, but 34.7. From the 18s, the rate of female school attendance in Arabic school started to close the gap with that in Jewish school. And so we have a benefit, in particular, in Arabic population, in particular for female Arabic Israeli school. The reality is a contradiction, where this state, with this some form of discrimination, with separate school, apartheid, a sort of apartheid. But at the same time, we have this progress. Progress due to the policy of the State of Israel, but due also to engagement of the Arabic Israeli population. This is problem. This is a problem also from an ideological point of view. The programs of school subjects are drawn up and imposed by the ministers. This is a critical issue, and special for subjects like history and literature. The Arabs must study not the Arabian literature, but the Jewish literature. Not the Arabian history, but the Jewish history. This is a problem. Stage 3. Analysis of the ecological factors in the territory under investigation. This analysis refers to psychological ecology of Levin, to the concept of psychological ecology as understood by Levin. The definition of Levin in this research in the change of food habits. Any type of group life, this is a very important problem from a theoretical point of view. Any type of group life occurs in a setting of certain limitation to what is and what is not possible. The first analysis of the field, in this case the territory, Sahel, Canaan, and so on, the first analysis of the field is done from the point of view of psychological ecology. The psychologist studies non-psychological data. First, non-psychological data, to find out what this data mean for determining the boundary condition of the life of the individual or group. Only after this data are known can be psychological study itself will begin to investigate the factors which determine the action of the group or individual in those situations significant. And so, psychological ecology, as understood by Levin, comprises economy, the climate, legislation, but also historical analysis. And so, the lesson of yesterday, you have some points of contact between this perspective and a perspective of critical psychology, of some critical psychology, or also of some European social psychology. Yeah. Because for Levin, it's very important, historical analysis. Here it is a mistake, and a misunderstanding, because the Levin criticism on social trends, also in this research, is aimed at the behaviorism and the psychoanalysis. The criticism of social trends, meaning that it's not past events that explain the present and make it possible to foresee the future. But this critical to social trend is not a critical to history. It's a critical to the perspective from a side of behaviorism. Linear processes, because and so the past events the past events can explain the present and make possible a prevision of the future. And also from another side of psychoanalysis, because you know, and psychoanalysis, the psychoanalysis is based on analysis of the past to explain the problem of the person and also to have a prevision of the development of the person. Okay? But this criticism in Levin of social trends is not a criticism of history. Levin is not at all historical or anti-historical, and so in fact Levin have very important analysis, psychological, historical analysis of many phenomena, for example, of the history of Hebrew in Europe, of the group of Hebrew in Europe. And this, and so we make this mapping, analysis of the ecological factors and the territory under investigation. This. And in this case, the focus down from general, or Israel, to particular, the specific context in the research by undertaking its mapping. What is mapping in this phase? The researchers but mapping the territory. The meaning of mapping is the relevation and the analysis of the above said factors, historical, economical, and so on, social, anthropological, and so on. The specific context of research, this Israeli, Iksal, and Kana, the specific context of research should be analyzed in relation to the more general context in which it is embedded. And so, Israeli, Galilee, area of Nazareth, Iksal, and Kana. A system of this kind. The focus from general to particular. In brief, very brief, the high Israeli cities of Iksal and Kana are a middle low level on the scale of living standard for the entire state of Israel. And a middle height level compared to the Hotel Arab Israel municipality. Compared to the Hotel Arab Israeli municipality are a middle height compared to all Israel at the middle low level. But it is, in any case, in this city, in this village, serious problems in terms of employment, delinquency, family breakouts and drugs, and so on. A situation, a difficult situation. Stage 4. Stage 4, interview with teachers, principal, official on the problem in school and scholar discussion. Is a qualitative analysis. Also this is inspired to Levinian paradigm, because Levin, in the first phase of observative, correlational observative phase of his research, entirely dismissed the observational phase with the use of qualitative methods, interview. The use of interview in this time for psychologists is very unusual for researchers, because interview in this time, the interview is very typical, not of psychologists and specialist states, where we are behaviorists, but the interview are the typical methods of anthropology, and not of psychology. But Levin used this method. Why? I think for two reasons. First, Levin is a gestaltist, and so have another vision. Second, perhaps, is influenced by the director of the research on food habits. And the director of the research on the changement of food habits was Margaret Mead, the anthropologist. And perhaps there are some question between Margaret Mead, because Margaret Mead involved Levin in this research. Perhaps Levin can be influenced by these anthropological methods. And so we too have this observational phase with interviews, semi-directed, semi-guided interview with teacher and not only with teacher. The goals record how subjects view the problems, including scholar disruption and so on, how they judge the intervention, and special, the intention to take part in the action research in this interview. In this school, with the teacher, principal, official, and other person. Total of 48 subjects. Also this person, not only teachers, but also, for example, the Kabas. The Kabas is a Jewish board. The Kabas is the official supervisor for controlling the dropping out. It's a very important person in this situation. The teachers are male and female, but the aides and supervisor are all male, are not female. Only the teacher are male and female. This is the framework. I go fast. I go fast in this more technical situation. This is the guide question of the interview. As in this kind of interview, the question proceeds from more general to more particular question. You know, it's the semi-guided interview. It's very usual for psychologists. And the question from the more general to particular. This is a topical question.
I'm not sure, but for me it seems like the questions are really, how do you say, they are not neutral, they are already implying that it's dangerous and there are problems. Is
no,
it on purpose that it's...
There's this question are also the results
of other.
But this is an example. In this kind of interview, you don't apply this schema. So, it's an interview. You can change. You can change. But you must inquire all this problem with a procedure, a process from the more general to particular. But it's a semi-directive. It's like a clinical interview. The clinical interview is open, is absolutely open. This kind of interview is not at all open, but is semi-open. The people can speak of the questions of this problem. I answer to your question. Yes. And this is an example. You know, this instrument is the principal instrument of work for psychologists and for social workers. It's not easy. It's not easy to conduct an interview. That is the more important instrument. Okay. After this interview, we have the text of interview, and we translate from Arabic into Italian, using category and analyze this text. The problem is that this is one of the more important phase of the research. They analyze all the text of the interview, tape recorded, transcribed. Obviously, the interview are in Arabic, are translated in Italian, for analysis. Two methodology of analysis: categorical content analysis, you know, the content, the categorical content analysis, and an analysis with software. This software, TLAB, this software is in Italian version of Alceste. It's a French software, but in use also in German. You know this software? You can find everything about this in Google. You can find everything. Are software for the analysis of discourse, of text. This is categorical content analysis, is a traditional analysis, pen, paper and pencil. Paper and pencil. This is a software for analysis of the discourse of the text. And this software are quantitative and qualitative. Are quantitative because they find in the text, in the discourse, the factor, the principal dimension, and also the words more frequent, quantitative. But extract also the, in this context, in this dimension, extract also the proposition, the sentences belonging to this dimension, to this factor. And so you can analyze these sentences, this proposition, from a qualitative point of view, also from a rhetorical point of view. But you don't have the free quotation as in some methodology or English psychologists of discourse analysis. They have free quotation, bring a quotation, and analyze this quotation, for example, of an interview. But why you analyze this quotation and not another? It's arbitrary. In this case, in my opinion, with the use of this software, we have, I think, surely also a version of Alceste for German. You have not free quotation, but you can analyze proposition as a result of the software and not as a result of your decision. And so you have the analysis. This is a very long phase of the research. This is important. The stage 5, the restitution of data, discussion of the results with the teacher involved. In every research is very important, in my opinion, in every research, also in basic research, is very important discuss the results with the subjects. You participate also in basic research on learning, on memory. After, it's the data of the research call you and explain. This is not research. But this is absolutely, the discussion results is absolutely necessary, is a priority in action research. And so, after this interview, after the analysis of interview with this methodology, we discuss the principal results with the participant, the teacher, the principal director of the school, politician, and so on. It's the restitution of data. Goals, what emerges? Verify with the teacher the results. These are the results, but what your opinion about these results? And often the same teacher interviewed before, not all. What opinion? Start of a process, this is important. Start of a process of critical reflection on the problem, question. A moment, if you discuss the results, the subjects are stimulated to a critical reflection on these results. Please.
Yeah, I would to ask you that, for example, in this stage, it's a kind of a next interview that you are making with the participants, or you don't need to make a
not exactly interview, are discussion.
So it's a little more
discussion.
informal?
Informal.
So,
No,
are discussed in school with this participant, with teacher, also with PowerPoint demonstration, and you discuss the results. What's your opinion? We can examine. We find this. For you, is true or is not true? Other teacher spoke of this problem. In your opinion, is a relevant problem? You can find examples. It's not exactly an interview. It's another. It's a discussion of results. It's a group discussion. A sort, a kind, if you know, of focus group. A kind of focus group, not exactly a focus group.
But it's more than communicative validation, yeah, because you want to stimulate the participant to change
criticize,
something, to go
to change opinion,
yeah.
to criticize also the results.
So
And they criticize the results, no?
Yeah.
And they criticize often the results. It's a kind, it's a group discussion. It's a group discussion.
You do it in groups?
No, in every school, no, many groups. We have 5 schools involved, and in any school we have not only one discussion of the results, but in any school we have 2, 3 discussions of the results.
Okay, so
Not always with the same teacher.
Mhm.
The problem of participant. The participation is not obligatory. And so, to some discussion, some teacher become to discuss the results in, for example, in a school, 3 group discussion, and many teachers come in this discussion, all the 3, other on the one and the 3. So, is this the problem?
So first you do individual interviews, and then after this you discuss the results in groups.
Sure. First interview.
First interview, then group discussion.
First, at different stage, you interview, analysis of the interview, of the tape recorded, analysis, interview, analysis of the interview with this methodology, discussion of the results. They are different moments.
I have another question. The method you were referring to, the method you were referring to for the interviews, what kind of content analysis is this? So, to which authors are you referring?
Another lesson. Because
Maybe you can just mention the names. So,
no, the categorical content analysis has not a name. The software has a name. The categorical content analysis have many books on content analysis, and the categorical content analysis is a particular content analysis. But this methodology of content analysis is a methodology founded by Loswell, is a psychologist of policy in States in 1930 and so on. And so it is not exactly a name of this methodology. This methodology developed in the development of the study in psychology. But there are many books on content analysis. And in any books on content analysis in English, in Italian, in German, it is surely a capitol on categorical content analysis. I can explain very brief. The analyst must read all, not only, but 2, 3 persons must read the text. You read the text, and in this text of the interview, you find some category. What's category? Category are the problem, the principal problem emerging. 10, 15 problems. And so you have this problem, this schema of problem of category. For example, difficult relation with parents, violence in school, problem of drugs. These are categories. And you can apply this schema to the text.
I see what you mean, but where's, for example, the difference to grounded theory or other methods?
This can be a methodology of grounded theory, but grounded theory is a theory, is not a science. The content analysis is before the grounded theory. I don't know if the grounded theory is a very novelty.
But
what is a new name, a new name, a new name for all theory. I have this doubt. No. But in any case, this content analysis is in use also in grounded theory. The software are another thing. The software are a copyright. And the copyright is a methodology, and you can. The content analysis is traditional from the 30 of the past century. It's a traditional analysis in psychology, also in sociology, also in anthropology.
I think one of the founding fathers of content analysis was a German immigrant from Frankfurt School of Social Research.
Sure.
Siegfried Kracauer. I don't know if you
Adorno,
also. Siegfried Kracauer, guy from Frankfurt School of Social Research.
Sure. But Adorno is not the first.
Okay.
I see.
Okay.
Professor, that's not the first. It's traditional. And so, for example, this is an example of discussion. You can show in PowerPoint, not this, in PowerPoint some results, also some sentences, some quotation from interview, and you can discuss this with the teacher, principal, official, and so on, in this kind of new discussion. It's important in this group discussion, this question, for every question, this problem. Do you agree? Do you agree with this? Do you agree with this? Do you agree? Do you agree? The teachers, they can express, and many expressions are stimulated to discuss. Do you agree? Do you agree? And finally, the pivot, the focus of the problem of all this group discussion is this: what would you decide to do? What would you decide to do? This is the problem. This is at the problem. Our scholar disruption, and so on. What you, teacher, decide to do? What kind of intervention? For example, a very important category in all this interview is the violence, for example, is the problem of the violence in the various forms inside and outside school. This, for example, is a category, the category of violence. And this is present in all the interview. Violence in various forms inside and outside school, and conflict, violence and conflict. Conflict among students, between students and teacher and parents. This is a critical problem, conflict between teacher and parents. This in all the interview. In this interview, never mentioned directly the Arab-Israeli conflict. Okay? But emerged as the more comprehensive category this problem of obviously of violence. And in the group discussion, we discuss also of this problem. Why this is a very important moment? Because we are here not only in effect group discussion. We in this phase we have group discussion and decision to participate to intervention. Not only in general, generic participation, but what you must do, what practice, what the best practice you decide to experiment. Okay? And so in this case different. It's very different from a traditional group discussion, focus group, and so on. Because the very important problem are this. In this discussion, the participant in group must decide the best practice to experiment. Okay? This is the focal, the pivot stage of the research, the focal problem of research. And also this is inspired to the paradigm of Levin. What's the problem? This group discussion, but the problem is decision, and the decision can stimulate the decision in group, not as a law, in group norms and so on. The decision-taking group can stimulate the action, for the change. The decision can provocate the transformation of a generic motivation in action. Motivation alone does not suffice to lead to change, to action, right? That presupposes a link between motivation and action. The decision in group discussion is this link, okay? Is this link between motivation and action. It's clear. This is a focal problem. The decision, this link, because the motivation. If you have a conference, if you have a beautiful conference to teacher on the problem of scholar disruption, dropout and so on, came a professor from Italy in Israel, have a conference on this problem. What about the motivation? The teacher after the conference are very motivated. No? Oh, beautiful. Oh, it's true. But what happened after?
Everybody goes home after that.
Happen this motivation tomorrow, the day after, this motivation. Okay? This is problem of motivation. It's a problem of dynamic psychology, finally. Best practice. The goal is to reduce scholar disruption. Some of this best practice decided and experimented in this school. For example, but we have not much time. For example, increase in home visit to family with students at risk, proceeded by informal contact with parents. Not more, as in the past, bureaucratic procedure, the cabas, the official, go, where is, also, I write, informal procedure in this. One of the most effective best practice is the changing in the interpersonal relation teacher-students. The name is the policy of greeting and smiling. Okay. Before, not relation. In the school, teacher, student, goodbye, no, nothing. Also change this kind of relation where teachers should greet and smile first. This was one of the most successful practices. And other. School buildings more welcoming. Not respect the ministry financement for, but clean. Some room, bring some chair from house, more welcoming, but getting space for informal activities, and so. The activity of young leaders, and so, for example, investing in male and female students with responsibility in school organization, and so on and so on. This is important. We have not time to examine all this best practice.
We have half an hour left.
What?
You have time.
Have time? Half hour?
Half an hour.
Yeah, half an hour.
Half an hour. Okay. This is of special importance. The active matters involve the matters in middle and elementary school. The name is active matters. To be involved in what? In periodical meetings to discuss, and especially in improving, in helping to improve school buildings, to clean, and especially, this is important, this active matters, some of these active matters, together with students, look after the school, garden, and vegetable garden, teach making clothes and so on. This involvement of the matters. This is a best practice, and also the term active matters are taken from the project Chance. The project Chance is a very important project in this kind, you know? Conosci? Di Napoli? The project Chance. Chance by the state teacher in Naples. In Naples, the situation is like the Arab-Israel one in terms of marginalization, deviance, and violence. In Naples, we have for many years this project. The name is Chance. You know the meaning of chance? Chance is French, but also a Napolitan word. Chance. You know the meaning of this? Chance. To have a chance. To have an occasion. An opportunity. The last chance is the last opportunity. Okay. And so this particular best practice is taken from this project. I know this person and so on. And this is one of the most successful, involving matters, and so on, and so on. First results. Also in this regard, we have a theoretical, methodological problems to discuss. In action research, not our results of are subject to measurement. Not all, not our results. Okay? For example, change in the interpersonal relation, the policy of smile and greeting. It's not possible to measure. If you want, you can measure everything. You can measure everything with how many smiles in this thing, but it's difficult. And so, the practice, the mode operating cannot be described in terms of only misuse. But at the same time, it is important to measure results as it is possible, to measure results as far as is possible. You can see, measuring can be a very simple kind, because it's important to measure. It's important because in the measurement provide a transparent and public test of the effectiveness of the action research undertaken. And also, at the same time, serve to motivate the subjects, for example, the teachers involved. We have this best practice experimented. The policy of SMILE, the building, the active matters, and so on. This implies some investment by the subjects. First of all, by the teachers. And the results, the teacher won't see also public results. In effect, those involved in the research, starting with the teacher, asked for data on the effectiveness of the research. It's clear? This is a problem of measure. Now in psychology, everything must be measured. And okay, in action research, not everything, not every result can be measured. But if it is possible to measure some result, it's important. Because what happened? Happened that in post-Levinian action research, for an generically, ideologically anti-positivist attitude has led to the regression and neglecting of any form of measurement. And in my opinion, this is wrong. It's not good. I don't know if I explain clearly this.
Because measurement can be very convincing when you present it in a group discussion, for example.
Yeah, sure. The problem of measurement. The problem of measurement is a focus problem in psychology from every time, and also in action research. And so, for example, we have these results. This is very simple. No intervention, dropouts, intervention. We have a decrease of open disruption of the dropouts. But also you have some positive results also in other schools where are not intervention. An hypothesis can be the benefit of a sort of aura effect. Also the school where it's not intervention. It's not possible to show, I don't know why, all the table. It's not, but you see, this is not intervention from 3 to 1, from this intervention from 20 to 1. But some positive results, it is also in school where it's not at all some intervention. For a sort of aura effects, for also a kind of emulation, also in school, because in some school it is intervention, in other school are not intervention. Why? Why this kind? It's very simple. Why the principal of the school don't want? This is very important. The decision, the motivation, the participation of the director, the chef of the school. if the chefs of school don't want, or this answer time is not possible to interview. And so we have this kind of effect. You know the U-turn effect? It's a meglio, U-turn. It's a kind of U-turn effect. This is important. This is very important. The data I can show relate to the problems indicated by the teacher at the Center for Educational Psychology. The teacher indicated at the scholar psychologist students with problem. What kind of problem? 3 and special 2. Learning problems. The teacher indicates to scholar psychologists these teachers are learning problem. This indication of some pupils with learning problem can bring to what? Can bring to a diagnosis of learning disability. Okay. This is the process. The teacher indicates some pupils with learning problems to psychologists. The psychologists have an examination of this pupil at the center, and our results can be a diagnosis, for example, of learning disabilities. More worse, behavioral problems. The teachers indicate a signalation, this type of behavioral problem. The behavioral problems, the results of this indication can be a diagnosis of AD. Is clear? And so, indicate this problem, reporting problem, what's the consequence? First, stigmatize the students. The absent present are labyrinth. And first, second, but also first, depersonalize the teacher. Why? If you have a diagnosis of learning disabilities of DLD, if the students have not some results, is level, you are not responsible as teacher. Because why? Well, the problem is in the students. Only one. It is an attribution, the attributional process, the attribution of difficulty to fixed internal causes, to permanent internal causes. And so the teacher.
I see the point, and I'm not sure if it's different in Israel or Italy, but in Germany you get special fundings for children with, for example, learning difficulties or learning disabilities only after a diagnosis. So you, as a teacher, you have to do a certain test, and if the pupil fails at the test or is performing underneath average, then you get special fundings, for example, to share more time with a special teacher and so on and so on. So I see the point that it is internalizing, it is stigmatizing, but there is also a difficulty around it, I see. So to kind of avoid the stigmatization, but still support the pupils in the right manner.
In Germany, the numbers of diagnoses are rising in regular schools because it's financially attractive. And it's attractive so the school can say, oh, we're very inclusive to disabled children.
In my opinion, the problem finally is the same in Germany, in Italy, because it is perhaps some students with learning problems, but at this age of elementary school, of the middle school, is not possible a labeling, a diagnosis, because the person is in evolution. And so the risk of this kind is labeling the person, learning disability. Write something very interesting in this topic. A psychologist, the name is Jerome Kagan, you know. He's an old psychologist of
It's development psychology.
yes, Jerome Kagan. Surely, I have some students.
Yeah, and I think this problem is a consequence of neoliberal austerity, because the workload of teachers become higher and higher in the last years, and now you need to stigmatize students to get more teachers and more hours to teach, but to get a problem of austerity in schools. So, and it's
No, it's a complex problem, because surely there are some students with learning disability, but what's the origin of this learning disability? It's neurological, it's social, and so on. Surely it is a problem everywhere, not only in Israel, also in Israel. And with the Arab Islamic peoples is more frequent. A very big diffusion of this, of diagnosis of diagnosis. It is an epidemic. All the children are diagnosed. This is the problem. And also children, the first class of elementary school. If you have children that live in a house very small, and after these children go to school also in room small, because the rooms in Arab Israeli school are small, are many pupils, but the buildings are restricted. These children is not the starting value, and this can justify diagnosis of DIAPT, in my opinion. But we have an epidemic of this diagnosis. Especially, this is more worse than learning disability. And so, I hope this can. We have learning and familiar problems, learning problems, behavioral and learning problems. Family and learning problems. Family and learning problems. Behavioral and learning problems. Learning problems. This is the evolution in this elementary school, no intervention, increase, especially this, okay? No intervention, increase of learning problems, of indication of learning problems. This is in elementary school, another elementary school, with intervention. Learning problems. Okay? It's simple, monsieur. And so, I hope some effects. In high school, it is only one high school, it is intervention. Learning problems decrease, especially learning problems. Also, behavioral problems and familiar problems, and the behavioral and learning problems. This can be a symbol, a signalation of some positive results of intervention. Can be a symptom of also results in the scholar achievement. They have the marks of classes, in this case in year 6 at elementary school. The elementary schools are not 5, 6 years. The last class of elementary. Total average of all the subjects, average in mathematics, average in Arabian language. And so you have an increase of the scholar achievement in this school. I don't know if it is significant from a statistical point of view, but it is an increase in scholar achievement in the average marks, also in all the subjects, in mathematics and in Arabic language.
Are you planning to do a follow-up study? Because
No.
I was wondering maybe if this this improvement of the situation could be because somebody actually took interest in the school and did an intervention. Maybe one could ask the question if the reason for this is more that something happened at all and not because of some special, you know what I mean?
Yes. That is not a problem for follow-up in this research, because this research has not an end. It's typical of action research to start a process that must continue. Because the process that starts is to experiment this new or best practices. And so you have not an end of research. You start a process in the practice that must continue in the years. If action research have an end, it's failure. It's an answer. And so I have no problem of follow-up. The aim, the true aim of action research is start a process that must go and go in the year and experiment this practice, other practice, and so on.
Do you think the improvements of the topic, the learning difficulties, they had the same reason or based on the same factors you already mentioned in the, for example, the...
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
It's not about...
I don't know exactly, but I think the diminution on the simulation learning problems is a signal of a change of mentality
the
and
whole
also
community.
yes, of mentality also in the practice of the teacher. I hope.
I have a more general question. I really like that you start with a historical analysis, and I don't know if you will come to that point, but you said that the conflict between Israel and Palestine isn't,
No mention.
they don't talk about it, but you think that this have
The violence.
an effect. Do you talk about this in the discussion or no? And
It's not, no.
And why do you do the
No, because,
analysis?
because the situation is difficult. It is a control of ministry in this kind of activity. And so the problem is not the problem is my colleague that working and living in Israel in this center. And so it's necessary many prudence. If you in group discussion talk of the problem of Arab-Israeli conflict can be a little dangerous for not only for the research, also for the person and so on. The discussion, the graph discussion with teachers are conducted not by me, but by psychologists, the director of the Center of Educational Psychology, IXL and CAN. It depends from the Israeli state, okay? The salary is from, and so it's not a good opportunity in group discussion. What you see? Also because
it's very passionate discussion.
Individual passion.
But is there an effect on your results?
No,
but,
no.
My question was, for what is the historical analysis? Is there any effect to the results? You discuss or not discuss?
Yeah,
But
yes.
we are referring about what he's saying here, that historical analysis.
Results from the conflicts, the problem of conflicts, results not directly. You can't relieve directly this problem. It's not the case. Results from historical analysis, from other things, from the analysis of the law, of the legislation, of the intervention, and in the texture, not in the text, in the texture of the interview. You know, you have an open text in every discourse. You have an open text and a hidden text.
I have also one more.
No, sorry. It is important to try to analyze also the hidden text.
One more technical question. Did you also discuss with the students? And how many professional researchers do you need to make all the discussions?
No, this is the problem. With students, very little. Also because they are only one high school, and we try to involve in these high schools also students. In elementary and middle school, no. I mean, this is a fault of research. It's not an involvement of students. This is the problem. In all the actors, participants are not students at the moment. This is the problem.
I wanted to ask you about the cultural hegemony that you are described here, and you are meaning the cultural hegemony about from the conflict analysis, historical analysis. Sorry, about the cultural hegemony.
Hegemony. We can.
Sorry. Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to ask you because
Come on.
Sorry.
See, this is the problem. Oh. All right. Behind quantitative data and statistics, we have not only we have a change in the practice of educational psychologists. Now it is a trend from clinical intervention to psychosocial intervention. And so, for example, the bureaucratic control in the school, the trend is from bureaucratic control to intervention. Before is a bureaucratic control in dropouts. Now the trend is change. This bureaucratic control, for example, of the Kabas. Kabas is an official. The Kabas is a Jewish word, and meaning official for control the absence. From this bureaucratic control to intervention. This change is not successful at all. Are difficulties and resistance. In particular, for example, it is hard to perform the statistical skills of psychologists to build in this center a database and so on, which is not only success. We have also at the moment also unsuccess. But also we have some in this action research, at the same time in every action research, have some concrete results. For example, the opening of a new middle school in Exile. Thanks to involvement also politician of the city council and so on. Because before it is only a middle school, very full. We, thanks to this involvement, thanks to engagement of scholar psychologists, educational psychologists, the director of the center of the educational psychologists, involvement of politicians and so on, we obtain the opening of a new middle school. Not the building of a new build, but a build with another destination. The city council decide to this is, in my opinion, important results. In action research, in the action research have also this kind of results. But it's not only success. We have also some unsuccess. And this and some hypotheses. This is a bottom-up approach. This action research, with all its limits, might be more effective than the costly top-down plans to stop scholar disruption proposed with the ministry. We have in Israel, also everywhere, also in Germany, I think, also in Italy, this plan of the ministry, from the top down, for the scholar disruption, with many money. Many money. And our plan elaborate often, for example, in Western Europe, in states, in Western Europe, by a scholar of Western Europe, a very important scholar, and they apply it not only to Jewish school, but the same plan, top down, are applied to Arab Israeli school. What's the problem? The problem is that this plan had based, have granted a vision of the world, a philosophy, a conception, very different from the Weltanschauung, from the vision of the world of the artist school. The results, well, in my opinion, are not
but what kind of plan do they have from the ministry to stop?
Many kind of studies also this.
Okay.
But many plans.
Okay.
With many money.
Unfortunately, we have to conclude.
No, only I will
Yeah.
only, yes, a conclusion, a brief conclusion. And so, we have here, I hope, a bionivocal relation between action research and critical psychology. Why? Why critical psychology here? First, all the development was granted in what? In the knowledge and the experience, also implicit or tacit experience and knowledge of the people involved. Second, knowledge and experience, knowledge also tacit, implicit knowledge of the people involved, is the common sense. Okay? And so, this is the lecture of yesterday, come back to. And so, you have what? We have a ground on everyday working behavior. And the practice, the change in practice. But this practice, it is the everyday behavior of the teacher, of the principal, of the official, of the politician too, of the psychologist. And so we have here a relation between common sense, the knowledge and experience of the person involved, between the common senses, this, and the everyday life. The behavior, the working behavior, is a part, important, relevant part of everyday life. In the reflection at the end of the lesson of yesterday. At the same time, and so, in my opinion, is possible a reference to critical psychology for this aspect, in my opinion. And another problem, at the same time, this action research try to awaken critical reflection in the actors involved, stimulate a critical reflection in the problem, stimulate the critical reflection in the problems. Also with the interview, stimulate every time a critical reflection, and not only interview, also in group discussing. And so we have a stimulation of this reflection of the problem. Because problems were for many years, you have the same problems and you don't see something very evident perhaps. If you discuss with others, and especially in group discussing, this problem emerge, and you can reflect on this. And perhaps, in my opinion, it's an hypothesis, this base a relation between this kind of action research and critical psychology. I don't know if it is true. And so you have this, in this procedure, in these processes, we have a theoretical relation between knowledge, experience, and work practice. I repeat, between common sense and praxis, but in concrete situation, in real concrete situation, the concrete situation of the place of the work, of the school, of this school, this school, this school, of Ixala, of Cana, and so on. Starting from the historical analysis of school, remember the struggle of Palestinian people to obtain more education, more school, and after the struggle in the Israeli state to obtain something, for example, more autonomy, for example, a department on Arab school with Arabian people, and so on. The struggle to obtain a new school, starting from the first stage, the historical analysis of school, this research is, in my opinion, a verification, a proof, a test of Gramsci's idea that school is the ground per excellence of the struggle for cultural hegemony. I don't know, you know the notion of cultural hegemony. For Lenin, for the Marxism of Lenin, it is only a political hegemony. For Gramsci is more important the problem not only also, but not only of political hegemony, but also of cultural hegemony. And the school is the par excellence the ground for this struggle. This theory of, in brief, this theory of Gramsci on cultural hegemony is exactly the opposite vision in respect to Louis Althusser, you know. Louis Althusser, for Louis Althusser, the school is an ideological state apparatus And so, for Althusser, the school is inevitably at the service of the power of the state. In Gramsci's vision, it's otherwise. It's like the vision of yesterday of the Sergio. The schools are not labeled as ideological state apparatus at the service of power. But the school offers some space of freedom, some space for investment, engagement in a struggle for this cultural hegemony. I know it is clear. This can be the point for an art. It's a final point, but must be also an initial point. But I give to tell some material, some paper in these problems. And in any case, I repeat, you can write to me if you want a mail, if you have problems and so on. You have write my email address?
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your attention.